This is Ed, and you're on Global TV Talk Show. This is a special edition of the series called To Life. It's all about health and wellness. And today we're going to be focusing in on this topic, strong women. Adriana Fuentes Diaz is our special guest, and she's coming to us live from Mexico City. The program will begin in just a few minutes, but I want to introduce her to you. Adriana Fuentes Diaz has 15 years of experience in marketing and advertising, mainly with premium brands from several sectors, including automotive, consumer, financial, and beauty care, and the author of 4 books, The Strong Women book series, available in both English and Spanish. So I'm really honored and very pleased to have Adriana Fuentes Diaz be my special guest. We'll be right back. Thank you. This is Ed. I'm in San Diego, and welcome to Life. It's the theme of our health and wellness series, which has been ongoing. Today's program is very special for me because Adriana Fuentes Diaz is live in Mexico City. And welcome, Adriana.
Thank you, Ed. I'm so excited to do these shows with you about different topics. So very excited to join this show with you.
Why don't you tell us quickly here in just a minute or two about some of the awards, the recognition that you have gained, have won, the recognition you have won by prestigious organizations.
Thank you, Ed. I mean, all the awards that I have, I won is more specifically about my books. I mean, yeah, I have more than 12 years of experience in marketing, public relation, and communication, but I have really my purpose is to support women in the workplace with many issues that we just face in workplace. So bit by bit or through this, the last 6 years, I have like all this commitment with women to understand different stage or phases in their lives, in their personal life and professional life. And this is why I start writing my first book, and then the second, and now I have 4th, and I'm writing the 5th book. And these awards are specifically to support women in their lives. So the second book has won some award, and also the 3rd one and the 4th one. So I felt so proud, but I feel so happy that I can support women in all ways.
Well, thank you very much for sharing this. So today's show is about a sensitive topic, and I'm really honored that you selected me to help you explain of this topic about menopause. And the reality is that a lot of men don't know anything about it, and yet certainly impacted by it. But so, what are the myths and realities? Briefly, as we get into this program here, what are the myths and realities of menopause?
I mean, yeah, the first myth that I can say it's that it's not a disease. Many people think, it's a disease, that we're sick, it's an illness, and definitely it's not. I mean, I can say that it is proven that perimenopause and menopause, it's not a disease, but there are like some physical and emotional changes, that women pass through, but also not every woman has these symptoms. It's like very personal matter. So I mean, right now I'm in my perimenopause, and when I talk with my girlfriends, I mean, not all of us we have the same kind of changes, emotional and physical. So this is the first myth. And like you say, Ed, I mean, a lot of guys, ask me like, I mean, are you sick when you feel bad? It's because you're sick. No, I'm not sick. It's just many things are happening in my body, and I have to understand. But it is something very important that also our partners, they really understand what is happening. And this is a taboo. Unfortunately, we'll talk about this during the show. The same than sex, at least in Latin America, menopause is a taboo in our culture. So this is why I wrote in my fourth book about I have. One chapter that talks about sex and menopause and how people think it is a taboo. So definitely it's not a disease.
Let's get into some definitions about what it is and what it isn't. And what is perimenopause?
Perimenopause is the transition, is the leading into the menopause. And usually, for every woman is different, but usually we start having these changes in our early 40s, like kind of our body and especially our body start preparing for menopause. And then menopause is a single point in time. Okay, it's not a long phase. It's just when we start having more changes, definitely more changes. And a woman just has gone for 12 consecutive months without menstrual period. So this is so important. And you know what? It is interesting because many women, they just start feeling these changes or facing these stages in their lives, but they don't know exactly what is perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. So the first thing that I talk with women is understand what is happening in your body, what is happening. Don't feel bad. Is just understand your body, understand these changes, and raise your hands. Go to to some specialist and to understand what is happening. Actually, I have a book here. I don't know if you see it. That I don't know. The name is Normal, Isn't It Optimal? Actually, it's a book in English that I bought it in US. And my doctor recommended me this book too. It's a short book, but really to understand what is happening in my body. So that's the first key for us. I think we're not ready because we don't have enough information about it. It's funny. I was talking with a friend, younger than me, but she was starting with the perimenopause, and she asked her mom about, Mom, how did you feel when you start with your perimenopause and menopause? And this answer, you will shock with this answer, and this is for real. Her mom told her like, don't worry, you will feel bad, very bad for like a year and a half, but then you will be okay. You will survive. And my friend was in shock, like, really? You didn't go to the doctor 40 years ago? You just felt bad for a year or a year and a half? And she was in shock. And this is, why it's a taboo, because our mothers, grandmothers, they didn't talk about this. So yeah, many things are happening. Actually, I can talk about myself when I start especially feeling como a roller coaster of emotions, my emotions more than physically, my emotions, they were like getting crazy. I went to the doctor and the doctor told me like, why you don't start taking some depression pills? And I was like, why I need to take, some pills for depression? I don't feel like I'm depressed. I feel like, my emotions are getting crazy or like a roller coaster. And then I decide not to do that, but I decide to do three things that for myself, for my experience, my own experience was like very the best. Doing exercising, or exercising every single day, doing meditation every day. And for me as a writer, like journaling or writing, it's kind of a therapy, personal therapy. So with that three things, meditation, exercising, and journaling and writing was my kind of depression pill. So unfortunately, exactly is understand what is happening emotional and physically in our body and just take care about it.
And what about the temperature variance?
You know what? That didn't happen to me. Maybe because I live in Mexico City and it's like cold weather. But that specific symptom didn't happen to me. But I have another friends that they're living in other part of the world that they kind of pass through that. But it is taking the right hormones, the right kind of hormones treatment, and definitely you start feeling better. But you have to go to the specialist. You have to understand what is happening in your body, and go to the specialist. Just, don't suffer. I mean, we don't need to why to be suffering of this. Just treat ourselves, be kind with yourself, and do what you have to do.
What's one fact you wish every 30-year-old woman knew today?
Definitely, at 30, our body, mind, and health are already changing, and in many ways. And this set the stage for how we will feel in our 40s or 50s and beyond. And we have more power to influence the future we realize. I mean, I don't know if you hear that also this staging in our life is the golden age. And I feel it is the golden age. Why? Because I feel more confident. I feel more, what is maybe negotiable and not negotiable for me in my life. So why not, treating ourselves much better than before? Else, I mean, yeah, I think even like it's a hard or difficult stage in our life, but also you can just do it better and enjoy in different way.
Got it. Okay, so sample myths, and I'm going to read this. Menopause starts overnight. That's a myth.
Yeah, it is a myth because for not for all women it's like that. So it's a myth, definitely.
And only older women experience it. That's a myth.
It is a myth. Not just older women. I mean, for every woman is different, and there are some women that just start with the perimenopause very early in their like ladies 30s. So, they're not all. It's just different in each body.
So one day a lady wakes up and she's not feeling well, or gets her temperature is freaking out, goes hot, cold, or just not usual for that person
Yeah, I mean, there's some,
at that stage.
exactly. There's como some changes happening at the same time. The physicals that maybe your period is no every month or every 21 days. You just start with some changes, and then you start feeling like kind of sad, or with some kind of hot flashes, or you feel tired. That's another thing, that you don't have energy, enough energy during the day. So a few things that if women read, because right now there's many information that you can find so easily about the typical symptom. If you read, you just call your doctor, go to your doctor specialist, and of course you need to get some lab exams depending of as to what is happening in your body, and then start having some hormones treatment, and that's it. It's not so difficult.
So now's going to be a silly guy question.
Okay.
Okay. Do I have hormones?
Yes. Of course. And you know what? I think
I've never thought about that.
this is why I think one thing very important is to talk with your partner about it, but to have a conversation and nice communication about how do you feel that your couple, your partner should, understand what is happening to you. And you also, guys, they pass through this stage, but are very differently. So we can talk another time about that. But yeah, communication, it's a key, especially if exactly you have a relationship, and you don't want to your couple just start getting crazy for this stage. So this is important. Talk with him, and I'm so sure he will help you with this stage in your life.
So hormone therapy then is adjusting actions of hormones?
Uh, Actually, the hormone therapy just will increase the production of two hormones that are the most important in this period, that is estrogen and progesterone. They're the two hormones that in perimenopause and menopause women, we don't produce as much as before. These two hormones. So having this hormone treatment, will help you to feel better in all ways, physically and emotionally. And you know what?
Mhm.
Another thing that some women pass through is lose their libido, and that's normal. This is why in my fourth book I talk in one chapter about sex and menopause, because there's also some changes that in our body that maybe we don't feel like comfortable as before to have sex. And now there's many products, also some nice treatments that women can just add into this stage in their lives to have a very sexual life with their partner.
So what about mood swings, weight gain or weight loss, or
Yeah,
bone density?
see, all that happened, but I mean, everybody is different, and
Right.
the body's woman, it is different. So this is very como unique experience. So that's why the best recommendation that I can do is read about it, understand what is happening in your body, and go to the specialist.
Got it. So you can get a referral from your regular doctor to,
Exactly.
yeah, okay.
I mean, yeah, I have my gynecologist is a guy, and when I told him that what's happening in my body, very honest, he told me like, what, Adriana, I will recommend you a specialist. It's a doctor, but she is a woman, and she is like hormone specialist. So I can see you every year, but just go with her, and she will explain to you all, everything about the perimenopause and menopause. And I was so happy because uh, I stayed with her in this appointment like for hour and a half, and she was like, she really did a master class for me about hormones, and I understood in that day why I was feeling that way. And I start like a week after start with my hormone treatment, and I feel much better. A hormone treatment, it is also a taboo. A lot of women, they think it's bad to take it, you'll feel worse, and it's not at all. It's just dependent what is the treatment specifically for you.
So the element of religion or religious belief, does that ever enter that discussion?
No, not really. I think it's more like a more than religion, like a cultural focus of also of youth, because society prices youth, and there's been less visibility of the midlife transition, for women. And also another thing that I talk a lot about it is lack of education and healthcare. Usually medical training has historical focus on fertility, pregnancy, in contraception, but no in menopause. I mean, the doctors, they don't know how to, not all doctors, I mean, how to diagnose or especially support women in this stage, because they still, talking, or maybe it's more important for them to talk about fertility, pregnancy, and contraception, and not menopause. But I really hope that in the next few years, things change, and, all women in their early 30s, they really know what is going to happen in their 40s and 50s.
Okay, so now you talked a little bit about this earlier, and just health things like walking a lot or some exercise on a regular basis, and something about diet. Does can you eat or not eat certain foods that will impact that?
See, definitely. Having, a good diet with a lot of veggies, fruits there. I'm doing some research about that eating specific seeds helps you with the menopause symptoms. In your salad, in your smoothies, specific seeds. So it is so interesting for me. I'm so curious. This is why I'm reading a lot of books and watching some podcasts and many other interesting things, that I'm learning a lot about what to do, what to eat, what not to eat in this stage. And that definitely is helping me a lot.
Okay, so yoga and just some kind of mental control things,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Some kind of exercise that maybe more than athletic, like your metabolism. Also, like very relaxed exercises, yoga, bueno, Pilates is you work a lot, pero meditation, this is why it's so good to control, your emotions, your mind, because maybe you are all the time thinking just about, what is happening in your body. So that kind of exercises help us a lot.
This has really been interesting for me. Thank you very much. And so, work-life adjustments, you write about this here, work-life adjustments and workplace advocacy. Do you want to talk about the workplace?
This is one of the things that it is a taboo because we don't talk about it. And definitely in the workplaces, they should talk more about that and understand this stage of the women lives and try to be kind of more support with women because maybe exactly it's hybrid in some cases, but what about if I go to the office and I'm not feeling well, like why not better to stay at home and be working from home. So this is something that changed, and this is funny because I have a lady that she's a director in some bank here in Mexico in the customer service area, and she want to write a book. I will help her to write a book because about that. She's been a director of this bank for 20 years, and now she's in her menopause. And she's, she was telling me like how I will deal with, I'm around a bunch of guys and they don't understand what has happened to me. And I have some colleague that she's pregnant and they don't know how to deal with her neither. So definitely this is something that we need to talk more about it, and the corporate world, they should adjust some things to support more women in this stage.